Charisma. Thank you for waiting patiently, Charisma. Go ahead and unmute. Charisma, what are your thoughts on that audio that you just heard?
One thing I know for sure, and two things for certain, when we operate in our hurt bodies trying to love other bodies, then we need certain behaviors. So if I'm in my hurt body, I need to feel pain to feel something. So even if he's putting her in her place, what does that look like? What does that sound like? Where is that happening at? I myself don't need nobody to put me in my place. I'm going to check me now. I might need redirection sometimes if I get beside myself, but nobody's checking me. You see what I mean? Now he can redirect me and say, hey, but there's no putting me in my place because my place is in my body at all times as much as possible. So when I listen to that audio and I hear her say that at some point he didn't put her in her place, what I hear her saying is that at some point I lost respect for him because he was too kind to me. He was too considerate to me. He was too attentive to me. So she think he needed to work up on it when he's operating in his healed body or in his healing body, right? He's connecting, she's attaching. So I hear a disalignment. There was no alignment. And once she realized there was no alignment, she instantly chose power and she abused that power.
So, as a woman, do you want to be led by a man, whatever that means to you? And if so, how do you want to be led?
Um, Even when I'm single, I fall in alignment with my brothers. You see what I'm saying? Even when I'm single, I like to be led by diplomacy. So when you see something that's my strength, you're gonna come and consult and say, hey, I ran across this opportunity or this thing. I know this kind of your thing, but tell me what you think about this. So now we're operating as a consultant for one another. So leadership and diplomacy, being able to adapt that leadership to whatever, like Shit Talker was saying, for the most part, to be able to adapt that leadership to my strength. If it's my strength, or if that's where my wisdom lives, then being able to adapt your leadership into a more consultative type of behavior, then I think that's how I prefer to be led because I am a very strong alpha sub. So I'm not easily backed down, but at the same time, I'm pretty sigma because I balance as much as possible. And where I can't find balance, I will find harmony.
Okay. Um. So, would you prefer a good guy or a man that's like going to put you in your place? Because you just said how you felt that she felt that man was being too kind to her and like just too considerate in this, that, and the third. So what type of man exactly do you want? Do you want a man that's going to be those things but still be able to, like, I don't know, tell you when you're wrong? And what is your answer to that question?
I don't like one thing I don't there's everybody got good and bad in them, right? And I've been with really quote unquote good guys who were cheaters, who had really abusive language. But people like, oh, he's such a good guy. Yeah, you ain't never been behind closed doors with this either. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear good guy, bad guy, what I really hear is because what I don't need a good guy or bad guy. I need a person that aligns with my energy. So when we doing what we do and when we're building, I want the type of person I can build with private with because I don't know what you is to somebody else. I don't know if you was a good guy or a bad guy to somebody else. All I know is that whatever we're trying to build, we need to be aligned in our energy. Because to somebody, I'm a bad guy. To somebody, I'm a good guy, depending on who you asking on what day. So while we building, I want to build in private so that we can fall in alignment. So when we fall in alignment, that whatever we is, we bomb at that. We good at that. We fire at that. We align with that. So it don't really matter who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, because we align with what we doing. So what everybody else talking about don't mean that.
Do you think most women today though associate a good guy being a square? And do you think most women today associate a man that they deem to be a square as being lame?
Most women under my mentorship, they're going to see your square guy as a family man, as someone who don't engage in much drama. Under my mentorship, you will learn that a lame doesn't move often, but this is the kind of guy you might pursue because he might not pursue you because he might be insecure in his lameness. But once you get to know this lame, you might find out that you align with him, build with him in private. Because under my mentorship, men are human. So therefore, you have to take your time and find out their human traits and find out how they spirit align and their energy align because that's what you can't see. So under my mentorship, you learn differently. We want the lame. I want the lame if that's the case because the lame is likely going to take care of his kids. The lame is going to likely stick around and marry you if you're respectful and you treat him well, right? So we're building with lames under my mentorship. And I got a lot of mentees. While I'm a single woman right now, I got a lot of mentees that's married to lames. And they seem to do pretty well with one another as they build professionally, entrepreneurially, spiritually, financially. It's all about alignment. So under my mentorship, you learn how to align your energy with other energy so that you guys can then move through life in that alignment because you're going to go in and out of that alignment through different times. It's not going to always be well, fine, and dandy. It's not going to always be peaches and cream. But even out of alignment, you still have a connection because you took that time to build and understand in private. So I probably speak a little too broadly for some people, but for me, it's individualized. And so under my mentorships, we seeking our lanes too. We don't just seek out the bad guy. Of course, some of us want the bad guy. I've been in my hurt body for many years before I was in my healed body. So yeah, I've had my fair share of bad guys.
So what attributes does a man need to have for you to really appreciate him, respect him, and love him?
Voice. He needs to have voice, know how to speak up for himself. Um, he needs to be able to operate in his wisdom, using his experience to guide his next footsteps and operate in a way that shows that he's grown from mistakes that he's made. And he needs accountability to be able to show that, okay, in this mistake, my bad. Here's how we're going to do this differently next time. Again, because men are human, right? It's really all about not what you do, but how you do it. It's all about how you do it. So he needs to have a trait that says, I can be accountable for my mistakes. I can learn from my mistakes and I can move forward after a mistake. I'm not going to get stuck.
Okay. Thank you, Charisma. I appreciate you coming on here. You have a good night, all right?
Thanks for having me, love bug.
All right.